Good evening, it's Cindy Fodor here with Stamp the Love, and it is Make It Monday. This is a pre-recorded edition because tonight is a class night, and I'll be showing you our class projects for the month. Just a reminder that you can get these for free when you place a minimum order online of $40 or more, and there's a host code on the next screen. When we get to stamping, you'll be able to use that host code and get this free packet of projects. There will be 4 cards that I'll be showing you tonight, and they're all fun and they have lots of different techniques and things. So let me just do a couple intro things. First of all, I have to announce the winner of last week's drawing. When you comment, when you share, you get entered into a drawing each week. And last week was this card that I made, and that winner is Stacie Carey. So Stacie, you will be getting that candy cane card that is so fun. I do not have any weekly countdowns to share with you, but I will share with you last month's countdown for the cutter. The mini embossing machine. I think I announced it maybe last week. I might have told you that's Jennifer Mashmeyer, and Jennifer will be at class tonight, so she will get that. I don't think she knows yet that she won that because I haven't heard anything, so we'll keep it a secret. And then each week I'm doing a drawing. This month is final countdown month. I'm hoping we are, I think, a little over $2,200, something like that. So yeah, it's getting close. So I'm going to just announce that this week's drawing is for this bundle of products. It's the Merriest Moments stamp set, and it also has, it's called a hybrid embossing folder with dies. So the dies and the embossing folder come together because this embossing folder, actually you fit the die inside and it cuts and embosses at the same time. Came out last year in the holiday catalog, carried over, and it's a fabulous suite of products. It's a bundle. But anyways, so I'm giving away that this week. So for every $50 purchase, you can get your name in the drawing for that bundle. When your order gets to 100, you would get 2 names in the drawing for that. But I'm also reminding you that I have these great little grab bags of at least $15 in product that you will get for free with a $100 order. So that's 2 things you get for free: the projects and the grab bag, and then you get your name in the drawing for this week's giveaway. Also to mention, every week this month, Stampin' Up! Is doing different specials, and there are some great specials. So I did post that here on Facebook, I think Sunday, for this week's projects or discounted items. So you can check that each week and see, or you can just go to my website and look at specials and it will show you that week's specials. So you can determine which week is the best week for you. However, you don't know till the next week because I don't even know. They don't tell us ahead of time. They're all surprises. And so it's just the luck of the draw, I guess. Okay, but lots of great things happening and great chances to get some free stuff. So it's certainly nothing to poo-poo about because there's lots of great stuff. And let's get started. I think that's everything I wanted to tell you. I'm going to flip over here to my other screen. And the first project that I have to show you, I have to get to it here. Where is it? Is using a Fish and a Wish bundle. So here's the stamp and the punch that I'm using. I have been wanting to play with this set for like a month now. I've had it and finally decided to use it this month for class. So we're using some sponging brushes, which are fuzzy here. I must have fallen on the floor. So let me put that aside for a minute. I'm going to give you a sneak peek at the card. So this is the card that we're doing this month. Let me do a close-up here. We've got lots of bling going on. it feels like when I get it closer, it doesn't get the light as much. So hopefully you can see that okay. All right, so lots of things happening here. You'll see this sample has this rectangle look, these boxes, the plaid look, and I'm gonna do a different look on this card. Same technique, but I was using our stencils, or they call them masks for this one. And this time I'm going to use our little polka dot die that I cut out of this paper. And I'm going to use this for my stencil so that you can see the difference there. We're using Tahitian Tide cardstock. And, sorry, I forgot to turn my phone off. And this is Parakeet Party, so that's our layer. I'll just do that later because I do want to get to, I want to get these colored. I just want to make sure I grab in the right paper there. Give me 1 second. I'm going to make sure I turn my phone off here so that that doesn't keep happening. Okay. Let's see. Scrap paper. I don't have much scrap paper here, so I'll just grab this. And I want to just do the bottom. Oh, I want to do the sponging part on this first to do the fish, because we're going to do a fun thing with that. We're using Pacific Point. Let me just sit that over here. Pacific Point, Tahitian Tide, and Parakeet Party. And I'm just going to, let's see, I'm going to just bring some color down this side. We're going to punch 3 fish out of this card when we're finished with it. But I really want the color to be vibrant. So I think I re-inked these pads so that they were good and wet. So you're going to see lots of color laying down. And I'm not being very cautious because, like I said, I want lots of color on there. I'm not too worried if I get globs of color. All right. And then the next one is Tahitian Tide. And we're just going to lay that down in the center here. And I'm trying to overlap a little bit. Sometimes colors don't like to overlap really well. If it was in solution, I think you would, it just wouldn't, it wouldn't solute anymore. Is that the right term? I'm trying to mix my science and my crafting here, and it's really not a good thing. Not a good thing, Cindy. But it's like it has all the color it's going to take, you know, is what I'm trying to say. All right, let's get the Pacific Point on here and get that real dark. Okay, I'm going to come back in with a little more Tahitian in here. All right, is that good? I feel like there's still some white here. Don't want any white. Okay, that's very, very wet. I'm going to leave that one because I'm going to use that one yet. Okay. All right, so the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to punch these out. And I will tell you, if you want to make this card, this is 2.5 by 3 1/4. And I'm hoping that I have this right so that I can punch 3 good fish out of here. And I just want to make sure that I'm lined up good. This little fin up here is going to get in my way, so I know that I need to go, I needed to make this a little bit bigger so that I would have enough to get past that. I'm going to turn this one upside down and I want to see the difference, because you can see as I'm punching this, it's pulling some of the paper away. And I forgot that I wanted to do this upside down because it shouldn't do that. You see the difference? So I meant to do that upside down and I forgot to. So I'm just going to bring this back in here and just color those areas with my brush. So if you did that then you can do the same as I just did and just recolor where it pulled some of that color away. Okay, let's go ahead and do that on this one. It's not too hard to fix, but it definitely does work better if you do it upside down, because the blade is coming up, so it is pushing up, and it tends to tear that. Because this paper is not completely dry is the main reason that that's happening. And I'm too impatient to sit and let it dry. Let me just get rid of some junk here, and then we'll go to the next step. And I forgot, I did put the stamp pads away, but we are going to just place this on here, and you can place it wherever you want. I'm gonna sort of have the dots coming off of the edge, and let's go ahead and throw some dark color in here. And I'm just going to use my previous coloring to help me decide where my colors are going to go, because I like how they turned out. Let's see if I have enough on here to get my green in here. Let's see how that looks from underneath. Yeah, let's get a little more green. I definitely want to be able to see those colors bright and pretty, so lots of color on there. All right, let's get some Tahitian tide in here. And let's see, where did we not color yet? Over here. And maybe a little bit here. Okay. All right, I think that's beautiful. I like that a lot. So let's go ahead and position. So I took this piece, and we have an embossing folder set. So I used both. I used the one that looks like little spatters of paint on this one. It's only a 3 1/4 inch embossing folder, and this one has the lines on it. I'm going to try to find that for you really quick so I can tell. I forgot to look up what that was called. I think it's in the annual catalog. Let's just pop in here and see if I can find that. Embossing folders, where are you? They're in behind here. Maybe. Okay. It is this one right here. It's called Stripes and Splatters. So there's 2, and it fits in the mini embossing machine. All right, I just wanted to show you that because I think they're so cool, and I really love how they look on this card. So I'm going to just go ahead and pop this one on. And you know, when I use an embossed piece, I do like to put plenty of adhesive on so that it doesn't stick up and gap for me, especially with this one. This one really, they're really nice and deep. They're, like I said, they're 3D, so they really give you lots of oomph. And that's going to pop on there, and then we'll just stick that onto. Now this piece I did crooked. This piece I'm going to put on here, try to put it on here straight, parallel to my edges of my card. All right, so we have 2 more things to do. We're going to stamp our sayings, and I'm going to show you how to do those in a second. And then we have a fun thing we want to do with our fish. Okay, so next we're going to take our fish. I have my water painter here. We're going to add some little droplets of water just to create a fun look. I think I got this idea from Tammy White. And I actually have some water in a little thing here just so that I don't have to constantly be squeezing this. If you want little droplets, it works better to go like this. You see how it's leaving little droplets there. And then bigger ones, I have a little bit more water. I'm just going to gently tap. See if I can get them to come off. There we go. Okay, I think that's good enough. As soon as that dries a second, I will bring it a little closer so that you can see it. While that's drying for a second, the other thing that I have here is my Embossing Additions toolkit. And I'm going to use my Versamark pad, clear powder, and we're going to stamp the words on a piece of paper. Again, if you want to size, I sized this to 2 by 2 1/4 because I took all three of the sayings out of 4. There's 4 sayings in there, I think. And I took 3 of them, and we're going to just use little pieces of them. This was, I believe, Tammy's idea. I don't know if she got it somewhere else, but I thought it was such a cool idea to just make the saying to be whatever you want it to be with all the great words that are in this. Okay, so we're going to emboss, and I want to emboss with color. So we're going to use Pacific Point, but first I'm going to ink in Versamark. Now the key to keeping that pad nice and white is washing this well before you do another card. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I'm not taking that pad to class tonight. And then I'm going to ink it in this color, and then we'll stamp it. And I've got my clear powder here. Now if you're really fast, our inks are really wet enough that you might not need Versamark, but I didn't want to take a chance, especially, you know, with class, maybe not heating it right away. And so I'm just going to tap on that and use my little tool here. We'll get this out of the way. And I'll bring in my heat tool. I did pre-heat this, so hopefully it won't take too long. Let's see if I can get this where you can see. I know white does not show well on my camera. I apologize. But it's nice and shiny and raised. It looks so pretty. Okay, so let me get rid of some things here, and we will cut this up. So my saying on here, let me pull this back in, says, sending a sea of wishes for you. So I'm just going to take my scissors, and I'll grab my sending, and I'm just chopping it up. I'm not being really careful how it looks. So sending, let's see, a C, and then we have, oh shoot, I have to say of. Oh well, I guess of will be separate. Do as I say, not as I do. Okay, a sea of wishes. Now it's not well wishes because this might not be a get well card, so that's why we're separating that out, wishes for you. And the cool thing is then I will have these remainder words to make another saying for another card, because I've got a thanks, I've got here, I've got here, and you know, I can make up different words later. So I'm going to keep all of these pieces because I might choose to make a different saying on a different card. Okay. All right. So that's just going to get layered. Let me just go ahead. I'm going to just lay my fish on here, and you can see how I'm just sort of spreading them out. And then I'll put my little words here. I do want to mention, I'm not going to take time to do this, but I put some little of the, what are they called? The Foci glass shapes around here, just to go with that sea theme. And then I did add some fine sparkle adhesive back gems for the eyes. I don't think you would have to do that. I think it would look fine without. So certainly if you don't have those, it'll look just as pretty without those eyes. But I don't know. I wanted eyes on my fish for some reason. Okay, I think that's it for that card. I do have 2 other samples from that set. I had Linda make this one for me. This is with a new alphabet and punch set that I just got. But yeah, I thought that was really cute. And this one, I think I may have showed you before. I got this in a swap at Backstage, and I thought it was cute. So, okay, that's it for that one. Let's go to the next one. Okay, our next project is using the Leaves of Holly bundle. and dies. Aren't those leaves beautiful? We are mostly using just the dies, and trying to think, the saying is from a different set, and I can't remember which set it is. But this is the card that we're going to be doing. I'm going to show you how to do this, this little pop-up look here. There is a window sheet under there, if you can see that shimmer. So we're going to start with a window sheet die cut circle, which you can hardly see. I'm also using the Music Notes embossing folder. I feel like my lighting is getting really bad here. Maybe, let me check my lighting. I don't want to make it too bright that it glares, but you can see the window or the Music Notes on there. And I'm going to go ahead and just glue some of this stuff on because that way it's out of the way. So let's just get some adhesive on here. And I'm not sure if there is a right or wrong. I don't see any clef notes on there. Then I'm going to put this little designer piece. This is from the same bundle or suite of products. This gorgeous paper. It's really hard to know which side to use because they're all so pretty. And then I just did a little strip of this. It's a real bold poinsettia, and I just wanted a little bit of the red in here. So I just cut I think it's a 3/4 inch strip. Let me look here. Actually, it's just a 1/2 inch strip. And that's our card layer. Let's go ahead and stamp our saying. I'm using Peace and Joy. Like I said, I can't remember which stamp set I pulled that from. And we're going to just do this on this little tag. The tag comes from the set. I want to wash this right away because I don't want that red to stain everything. So let me get that cleaned. All right, so we're done stamping. That's all the stamping this card takes other than the inside when you want to do that. We are going to be using my trimmer, and I'll just dump everything off of there. What we want to do now is take this. This is a 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 inch piece of designer paper, and we're going to cut this in 3/8 inch pieces. And I'm going to be measuring on this side of my cutter. So I'm going to come over. Here is 1/2 inch right here. Here's 1, so here's a 1/2. So I'm going to come back to 1/3 right there. That's going to be my cutting mark. And I'm just going to bring those down here and keep them in order as I go. All right, because I don't want to have to put a puzzle back together. Now you could make these thinner or wider depending on the look that you want. Like I said, I'm just putting those, keeping them in order. I got that crooked. I'm going to just try to make that a little straighter. I got my paper a little crooked, and I don't want it to keep going that direction. So, all right, so let's go back over here to the 3/8. I'm going to move my hand out of the way so I can see if it's moving on me. I'm looking at this line here too to keep it nice and straight. All right, so there we go. There's all of our pieces. I might just turn this around and see if I need to cut any. It's very, very close to 3/8, so I'm good with that. All right. Now, I'm going to just scoot this to the side here because I don't want to move where these are. But let's bring in this because, and I'm just going to turn them over in the same order, trying to keep everything in the order. If I mess that up, it's going to be a mess. All right, now I can get rid of that. All right, so here's my little trick to this. I'm going to put my circle right here in this corner so that I can see the edge of each. And then I can start over here, or I could start at either side, it wouldn't matter. But if I start on this side, all I have to do, I'm just going to hold this in place, and I'm going to put this right at the top of my silicone mat because I have this at the top. So I know that when I get over here, I'm going to have enough to cover that. I cut this just big enough so it's just going to cover both sides. So I definitely don't want to go off either end. And then I'm just going to leave a little gap between. How easy was that? One extra piece. So I didn't need to stress about trimming that one down. Now you're just going to flip it over and just carefully trim off the edges. You can cut through the plastic. It's thick, but it's a little easy to cut. So how pretty is that? I can get rid of all that stuff. All right, so we're going to put this on here, and I didn't bring in my strips of adhesive, so I'm going to just put some baby dimensionals on here. I'm hoping to remember to take my strips along tonight for class, because one pull and you'll have all of the backing off of it. This takes a little more time to get the backing off, but it still works. There we go. Now I just decide which direction I want to put this. And I think I'm going to put it like that. And then I cut one of the die cut leaves out of our gold foil. This is the brushed metallic. Unfortunately, it's out of stock right now. Will be coming back hopefully soon. I'm going to try to put a little piece of dimension right here. So I'm going to just cut one of these in half, and I just want it on an end here. Now I got both of them. I don't want them to show from the other side. I'm going to go ahead and peel those off. And then I'm going to take my green glue and I'm going to stick some green glue on here, and it will just stick to my circle that I already have there. Okay, does that make sense? That way I'm bringing this up to the same level pretty much as this, so that it doesn't get all squished and go on. So I'm going to add a little adhesive here, just so tail sticks down. I'm holding that in place just to get that glue to stick good. It takes a few seconds to grab there. There we go. And now we're ready to put our greeting on, which we stamped. Let's get some baby dimensionals on that one. I think 2 should be good for as tiny as that is. My tail is coming up. My stem is coming up. This is going to go over that and hopefully hold that in place. Okay, so last but not least, nothing wants to stick today. What's up with that? Last but not least, I added these really pretty champagne gems, which I brought in here. Here they are. The champagne rhinestones. And so I'll just add a touch of those to this card and it will be all finished. Okay? So it's a really pretty different type of design, but it doesn't take a lot of extra time. It just takes a little bit of thinking and getting in place there. So I hope you like that. Okay, our third card is using this beautiful Hello Heart and the dies that go with it. We're going to be using a lot of those dies. The colors we're using, this is the card. We're using some texture chic designer paper as well to make that gorgeous background. And we're using the Quatrefoil embossing folder to do that pretty look in the very background there. So starting with espresso as my base, 8.5 by 5.5. And then we've got the Quatrefoil design in Pool Party. And I'm just going to go ahead and get that laid down here. This piece is 4.25 by 4 by 5.25 for that layer. And then we've got this early espresso piece and our texture chic designer paper. So I'm going to put that on so that I know where I want my ribbon to go. And I see that this has a little cut there on the edge. Let's fix that so it's not looking messy. All right, so I have a piece of our Pool Party, just really fine organdy ribbon, and I'm going to tie that in a faux knot. So just towards the end here, I'm just tying a knot around my finger, and I'm just going to finish tying that knot by wrapping that around and making that final knot, and then I can slide that off, do a little snip right there on the circle, and now I have this perfectly tied little knot that I'm going to stick on here. Looks like I have plenty of room. That wasted a little bit of ribbon there. This is to not waste ribbon, and it also is easier than trying to tie it onto something. So you guys usually like to do that because it's easier. So make sure we got that on there. Let's go ahead and glue that in place. I always glue over where I glued the ribbon so that it's got that double stick to it. And I think I ran that off the edge there. And I'm just going to center this on my background. Okay. Easy stuff's done. Let's go ahead to the pumpkin. So for this pumpkin, I decided these are the two pieces for the pumpkin, and this one makes a skinny little pumpkin. So I decided to take another piece, the same. I don't know if you can see the embossed detail in that, but it's really pretty. And I'm just going to cut this one in half, and we're going to put this on either side to make this pumpkin a little bit bigger. Okay, you see how that happens? Now I am going to take, and I did this after I put the card together, so it doesn't look the same on my sample, but I'm going to take my old sponges and just add a little sponging detail so that when these pieces are together, you can still see the edges of them really well. I could use my sponging brushes, but since I'm already using my blue brush for the other project, I decided just to grab my old sponges because I do love them. All right, so we're ready to glue this together. Let's turn this around here. I'm just going to glue the edges of this one and this one, and then I can stick that right onto here and here. And then I can go ahead and glue the center of this one, pop it on there, and voila. Now, that looks cool, but let me just scoot this in just a little bit to make the top of my pumpkin a little bit smaller than the bottom. Okay, here's this little stem part, and I'm going to just put that behind here, and I might add a little bit of green glue so that it sticks good. And then I can sort of stick that in there and position it where I want it. And then I do have these two little filigree things that are from the same set the same dies, and I'm going to just add a little bit of glue there, and we'll pop them in place. Whoops, my stem is moving. It just, I don't know, I just love this pumpkin so much. Let's get some on this one. And we'll put that in place. And now, whoops, if I get that to get off my finger. My fingers must be sticky. All right, I'm gonna just let that sit there for a second. Go ahead and close my pad. While that's sitting there deciding to glue, let's go ahead and stamp our saying. I do have that set up on my Stamparatus, and if you need to know how to set this up, I'll just run through it really quickly. But what I did was I laid this piece of paper in here, laid my stamp on it where I wanted to cut it. I closed my lid. Well, I did, but you know what? It's not even lined up right now. So that's interesting. Must have used it on something else. Okay, well, I'm going to show you how I line it up then. This is the harder way to do it if you already have the die cut, but since I have to do it on the fly, let's see if I can get that in place. Put that in the corner. We'll close this down. I'm going to pick that up. We're going to do a little test here to make sure that it's in the right place before I stamp my paper. And let's go ahead and ink this up. I'm using early espresso. All right, that looks good. Now I can put my die cut piece in there. For me, this is just easier than die cutting, stamp, and then trying to line the die up on it. So I like to die cut first and then stamp. And ta-da! There it is. All right, I thought that was all lined up. I thought I didn't have to do that, but you know, sometimes things just don't turn out like you think they should. Oh, I guess I can pull my scrap paper out of there. Okay. All right, so he's ready to go for the next one. All right, so we can go ahead and start layering this together. I'm going to put some dimensionals on this. I'm just being careful because that probably takes a second to dry. As you can see, the ink from the previous stamp got on the back of that, so it definitely was not drying fast. Okay, and that's just going to go right down here under my bow. Off the bottom, and then we want some dimensionals on the pumpkin as well. I'm going to put that there to hold that stem on there at the same time. All right, and we'll get our pumpkin in place. Want it to be centered, and there we go. Wishing you the loveliest day. Isn't that beautiful? All right, so that's our pumpkin card. Let's get to the next one. Okay, our final card is, it's called Trimming the Tree. And this is the stamp set that was in the annual catalog, I believe. I might be wrong about that. But anyways, they added the dies this month. So this is called Perfect Partners. So they brought this new die set out, and it's really cute. Actually, this is what I used for that last greeting. So we're going to use some of the dies, and we're going to use the stamp set on this card. Let me just get that over here. So here's the card. And we're using the Lights Aglow, I believe it's called, designer paper. It's a 6x6 pack. And we're using a different assortment, like not every card will be the same. Here's the little die for the basket. We did that in the brushed gold. And then here's the die for the greeting. So the background paper I'm using and the color is Soft Succulent. So we'll do that. Let me go ahead. These are the colors I'm going to put on this one. So you'll see they're a little different on each one. Everybody gets a different choice because there's not enough paper. I can only get one card from each sheet of paper. I don't love 6x6 for that reason, because I can't get to, even though I'm using just the small pieces. And so then I usually typically like to have something on the joint of where two colors meet or two pieces of designer paper meet. So I'm going to just put this strip of Evening Evergreen here. And I'm going to use the line so that I can get it straight. Okay, so there's my background. Then I also used our Color and Contour Scallop Rectangle. And that's going to be our contrasting piece here because you'll see there's some red in this paper. Not a lot on this one, and definitely not any on this one, but we're going to be using red in the stamp as well. Okay, so we got that part done. Let's go ahead and stamp. And I do need my scrap paper for this because I am inking in So Saffron. And I'm going to waste an image. I need my mat here. I need another hand. Let me put my scrap paper on there. I want to waste some of that color. And then I'm going to stamp on here with what's left. Oh, isn't that so pretty? Okay. Do this one in the same color, just not stamping off. I want it to be dark. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so then I'm going to take my real red and add the little balls coming down over the tree, like so. Isn't that so pretty? Now, again, sorry, I have to wash this off really quick because, you know, it's red, it's going to stain. Okay. All right, so we got the tree done, and we just need to do our saying yet, and I used my block, so I'm going to try putting it on this tiny little block. I don't typically like tiny blocks because our blocks are rounded, which is great for holding. It does make it difficult to see the edge of the stamp when it's too close to the edge. So we'll see how I can do here. All right. I need to get this back towards me, sorry. And I realize that my light is, yeah, I cannot see the edges of that at all. So I'm gonna wing it and see. Doesn't look terrible, but I'm definitely gonna put that on a different block. Okay, so now we're ready to put this together. I'm gonna go ahead, I think that should be dry. I'm gonna go ahead and add my adhesive and get that on our card. Oops. Okay, and let's get this popped up with a dimensional or a piece of dimensional. And the rest of this is like, you can put it wherever you want to. I'm going to just wait a second because I want to see where this is going to go. Let's get our little cute basket, gold basket underneath the tree here to hold the tree. And then I'm using this gorgeous ribbon that we have. I can't tell you what it's called. Actually, I can. Hold on a second. It is... I was thinking that it was in the holiday catalog. Yes, it is. It's this gold vanilla satin edged ribbon. It is just beautiful. So I was very excited that we could use that on this card. Just want to get a glue dot there. And then we'll just give him a little trim. Actually, it doesn't look like I have any ribbons. Oh, here's some ribbon scissors. I mark my ribbon scissors differently so that I know not to cut paper with them. And sometimes you end up with just one or the other on your table. Okay, there we go. All right, now we can figure out where we want to put the saying. And I don't want to cover anything. Isn't that terrible? I guess we'll put it where we had it. That's fine. I really did want this to show here, but I don't want to cover up my tree either. Where do you think? What do you think? Here? I'm going to go ahead and put one here. I want you to vote and tell me which you like best. So we'll put these side by side here. And maybe you can let me know. Excuse me. Got a frog in my throat. Let me know which one you like best. Centered or to the side. All right. That one I'm pretty sure is the same color. It's just how the light is hitting the gold. All right, so that's everything, guys. Again, you can get a packet of these projects for free in the mail by the 15th if you place your order of $40 or more. So that's how I can get you a class even if you can't attend my classes. Even though I have 4 locations starting tonight's, of course, is in Chambersburg, and then tomorrow, Tuesday, is here at my house, and then Wednesday is in Mount Airy. So if you think you can join at one of those locations, give me a quick holler and let me know. Take care. Have a great